Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria records first death from Ebola virus. Federal government request for trial drug ZMapp from the United States to tackle disease. Governors of Nigeria's southwest states brainstorm on ways to contain spread of Ebola virus. Appeal to striking doctors to go back to work. INEC chairman reels out guidelines for Saturday's governorship election in Osun State. And security tops discussions on day 2 of the US-Africa summit as businesses commit to investing over $50 billion to fix continent's infrastructure. All our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. And you can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. All right, let's join Linda Akigbe in Abuja. She's standing by.
Hello, Bimbo, and welcome to the nation's capital. Now, to further shed light on the issues surrounding the outbreak of the Ebola disease in Nigeria, I'm now being joined here in our Abuja studios by the Minister of Health, Professor Onibuchichukwu. Professor, it's nice having you here.
Thank you very much.
Now, how prepared is Nigeria to contain the spread of this disease?
We are prepared. We are prepared. Actually, from the time Guinea reported the first case, that was in March this year, I personally signed a last to all the Honorable Commissioners for Health, copied the governors, and copied also the directors of public health in the states. And we told them what it was, what things they need to do. We even started training health personnel in all the zones on how to manage this case. So we are prepared, and but of course the way it came slightly different from the experience in other countries. But the reason why we've not had it spread this way is the way we have also handled it. It could have been worse.
Now, since your earlier announcement today that one of the nurses who had primary contact with the late Mr. Patrick Sawyer had died, some Nigerians think that the government is being economical with the truth as to the number and the status of the people who had contact with the American.
Primary contacts that are under surveillance are 70. What is the problem there? But certainly not all of them have developed any symptoms. When they develop symptoms, then we move them not just from active surveillance, we move them to what we call, isolation. And presently we have people under isolation. And then you don't expect me to announce results just because someone has developed symptoms. It could still be other diseases. So until we confirm in the lab, we cannot announce. I think in terms of being transparent with the findings, this government should be commended. It has never happened. Almost every day we address the media.
So you're saying that the government is in contact with 70 of the people?
Yeah, presently we're in contact with them. They're under active surveillance, which should be commended. I think the way I look at it is a deadly disease, I understand, difficult to control, and everybody's apprehensive. So whatever comments people make, I look at it in that light as a medical doctor, that there is need for concern. Make no mistake, we have a national emergency. I repeat, we have an emergency. It is serious enough. Second thing, everyone is at risk. And that's what I keep repeating.
Now, what about the family members of these Nigerians who have been confirmed to have the Ebola virus?
We're in touch with them. Occasionally we have had issues, and I'm saying it so that other people will take a cue. We have said even those who develop symptoms should just report, and once they've reported, we isolate them. But some of them, they will not say anything. You ask them questions, they are doing well. Because we can't possibly be visiting all of them in their residence every day. We are in contact with them on phone, we ask you questions. We believe you should save your family that problem. But when you say, I'm okay, and yet you are sick at home, you are now infecting others in your household.
So those who have not shown symptoms yet, are they being quarantined?
No, we're not quarantining them, but they're under surveillance. Every day we're asking questions, and we have told them what they should shout as soon as they get certain symptoms, and so they're moving. So we need the cooperation of all. What we're saying is that a lot of people are so adamant when you say don't travel out of Lagos, they're even making attempts to travel to Lagos. So I can't even say that one or two either primary or secondary contact may not have even traveled out of Lagos. It's as tough as that, but we are doing everything possible to see that we contain this disease.
Now, can you allay the fears of Nigerians on the actual mode of transmission of the Ebola virus? We've heard that it's only when the person comes down with the symptoms that the person is infectious.
Very true. It's not infective in the incubation period. However, the incubation period is variable. It could be as short as 2 days, and it could be as long as 3 weeks. Now, since we had the index case, Patrick Sawyer, that was on the 20th of July, counting from 20th of July, counting from 20th of July, today is day 17. So what am I saying? We still have at least 4 to 5 days before we can conclude that all we are seeing from the primary contacts is what we have now. So it may still be possible that a few of them may become ill. We don't know. What is important is that we are vigilant, we are pressing surveillance. When it happens, we should be able to confirm that in the lab and begin to take remedial action. Now, how do you get it? Direct contact. Direct contact. And it's from the secretions, whether it is secretions from your throat, whether they are secretions from coming up from your stomach, whether they are from blood and blood constituents, urine, to semen in the case of men, any of the body secretions in a person who is already symptomatic is infective. And so it's by direct contact. And even the fomites, what do we call fomites? Bed sheets, pillowcases, towels, all those personal effects that people use in an intimate fashion, we call them fomites. If the secretion is there and someone else goes to touch them or lies on the same bed, it's possible. Then people have always asked me this question: is it airborne or is not airborne?
Get to that.
For me, if we want to be safe, consider them as semantics. What do we mean by airborne diseases? Airborne is when you have very tiny droplets. Someone maybe coughs and sprays or sneezes, and because they're very tiny, they could be carried far. So when it's in the air, even if you are up to, say, 20 meters or 30 meters away, you could get it. Wow. But in the case of Ebola, we don't have such tiny droplets. We have larger droplets. So within a short distance, within reach of 1 meter, you can actually get it from droplets. And what is between two individuals, even if it's 1 meter, is air. So to me, leave that to the medical profession. For me, what is important is that if you're in close contact, you can get it through droplets. We should know that. And otherwise, the rest is by direct contact.
Direct contact. Now, what's the update about the corpse that was brought in from Liberia and deposited at a mortuary in Anambra State?
We've cleared that to a large extent. What has happened is that all those morticians, mortuary attendants, that for weeks we are there, all of them have been tested and they are all negative. The body itself, because it has been embalmed, we took tissue and we are just finally analyzing the result. As soon as that one is come out, we'll let Nigerians know. But the good news so far is that all the contacts are negative, so we're happy about that. Then the one in Imo, we've already cleared that, because in the case of Imo, we found that they actually had a proper medical certificate of death. And it's where it is, we've traced it, it's good. So it's not Ebola.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu, for joining us on the News at 10. Now, a detained suspect alleged to be a key agent of the Boko Haram sect has been speaking on the operations of the group in the northeastern part of the country. The suspect, Zakari Mohammed, who was apprehended on July 15th, told journalists in Abuja that he belonged to a cell of 5 members who specialized in killing security personnel while parading the suspect in the nation's capital, Abuja. Police spokesman dispelled rumors making the rounds that the suspect had escaped. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
This has become a common sight in many parts of the country by members of the Islamic sect Boko Haram. A member of the sect, Zakari Mohammed, who was arrested in July by security operatives, confessed to joining the sect 2 years ago and has risen to become the chief butcher in the Bauchi state cell of the sect, until his arrest by the police on the 15th of July.
Okay, he said out of the 5, his duty is to slaughter after, well, the other 4, their duty is to tie the victim whenever they got victim.
How many has he slaughtered?
He said he slaughtered only 5 people.
Asking how many minutes?
Come do any allow looked in the allow minting the come do any ma. Indeed. Minting. He said it took him only 2 minutes to slaughter one being.
Spokesman for the police, Mr. Frank Mba, who paraded the suspect before journalists, said that contrary to claims in some quarters that the suspect had escaped, Zakari remains in police custody and his revelations have become valuable to police counter-terrorism operations.
For the past few days, there have been very strong rumors from the rumor mill suggesting that this suspect has actually escaped from custody. And it is primarily in response to that we decided to bring the suspect out to interact with you in the best culture of transparency of policing operations. You have seen it for yourself, and you've interacted with him. And I think there is no gainsaying now that the suspect that is being alleged to have escaped is clearly within our facility.
The police says investigations are ongoing and the suspect will be prosecuted as soon as investigations are over. Amaka Ukafo, Channels Television News.
Political parties must do much more to properly educate their agents so as to help them understand their roles and discharge them effectively. This was emphasized by INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega at a stakeholders meeting in Oshobo prior to the elections taking place this Saturday in the state. The chairman also stated that only those with permanent voters card are eligible to vote in the elections.
Come Saturday, 9th of August 2014, a total of 986,117 voters will be expected to cast their votes at various polling centers across Osun State, having been cleared by INEC and handed a permanent voter cards.
Identify which.
Before that day, however, the electoral umpire deems it necessary to go over the rules of engagement with stakeholders in the election, including political parties and security personnel.
So we are doing everything possible, as I have said.
The INEC chairman, Atahiru Jega, expresses the commission's readiness for Saturday's polls, but wants the same said of participating political parties and their agents.
As I speak with you in Osun State, over 70% of the permanent voters' cards have been collected. I want to urge political parties, pay attention, have credible party agents for the purposes of witnessing what happens in a polling unit and witnessing the collation, and so that they can get you a copy of the result sheet from each polling unit, and also at the different levels of the collation centers.
The police IG reads the Riot Act and rules guiding the conduct of voters at polling units, but his statement attracted reactions of some representatives of the political parties.
Do not loiter around the polling unit after casting your vote, which means if you have no business with voting anymore, either you stay calm or you go home and continue with your lawful business or social activity. That's what I said. If people must not be near, how do we check any officials of INEC who might have colluded and who therefore might drop extra ballots into the box?
More questions poured in, and the INEC boss had to explain the knotty issues.
People can take photos, but they cannot take photos of a ballot paper or a person who is trying to cast his or her vote. Doing that goes towards violating the secrecy of the vote.
Hopefully, the anxiety surrounding the Osun governorship elections will be laid to rest on Sunday after the winner of the polls is announced.
The speech delivered by the Inspector General of...
And still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission set for tariff review. That's in business news. Join us again.